Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever watching this channel. Now, the good news is that Kenyans have initiated a recall on certain leaders. But the bad news is that Erastus Edung ETHAKON delivered some shocking response to the framework. Because based on what we've discovered, ladies and gentlemen, is that when these makers of the Constitution came up with the recall clause, they left some challenge somewhere. They did not establish a framework whereby after the qualification of the signatures and the like, then a roadmap to recalling someone. That was not put in place. And that's the biggest problem, ladies and gentlemen, and I want us to discuss in this analysis. Because after going through a conversation on Citizen TV,
we can recall bad medicine from the shops, or bad cars, or the manufacturer can issue a recall notice.
Why not a bad MP?
Why not a bad MP? The more common sense we inject into these issues, the better it is. So if you have a bad car that's veering to the right when it's supposed to veer to the left, the MPs are doing the same thing in the National Assembly. For an example, our National Assembly is unable to deal with a president who is causing bedlam in the country. Because we know why. Because of corruption. So who's the manufacturer of these MPs? It's the people. The people are the ones who manufacture this. And I think the benefit of the doubt should be with the people as far as the issues of recall are. I take what my learned friends on the right are saying, and I think it's wholly correct. But then we must find a very simple process in which we can recall these MPs who are rogue. And also, one of the things that is also important is something called voter education.
I've discovered that maybe, even though the fact that Kenyans want, most of the Kenyans in Kikuyu constituencies, they want ICHUNGWA out. Most of them, they want Eric Wamumbi out. They want Wamumbi out. Some of them want Esther PASSARIS out. But the framework, that legal framework to kick them out, that is where there's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. And in this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, let us revisit this matter, because the expectations of majority of Kenyans, especially from the videos I shared, the two videos about recall, is that recall should be, the procedure should be completed to have those members of parliament kicked out. Now, I don't know why it's only in Kenya that the recall issue is becoming a challenge. We've seen places like Zimbabwe, places like US, whereby there have been successful recalls. In fact, in Zimbabwe, do you know that they recalled the president, Robert Mugabe, after Robert Mugabe was accused to have allowed his wife to usurp constitutional powers, And also, after, at the age of 91, Mugabe read a statement in parliament, a State of the Nation address that was false. He read an old document. That was enough indication that William Mzee alikuwa amezeka. There was no way he was going to continue leading the country. So they recalled him. So in this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to focus on this reaction. Especially, this reaction was from Erastus Edung ETHAKON himself. The framework ya kurikola watu ni changamoto kubwa. So before we explore this story further, ladies and gentlemen, you can take this opportunity, like this video, subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed before, and to our existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. If I may take you to, like for instance, in the US. In the US, there was a time in 2003, Governor Gray Davis was recalled, the California governor. He was recalled and Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected as his successor. And based on how the US does it, is that you are given like something like a questionnaire. Do you wish to recall Governor Gray Davis? Yes. And replace him with who? Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that is how Arnold Schwarzenegger became the governor of California. Now let me take you to South Africa. You know, in Kenya, they say that the framework, there's a challenge in the framework. We don't know that they're trying to protect these leaders. Ama ni kweli hakuna hiyo hakuna. So in South Africa, you know the story of Zuma and Thabo Mbeki. We are told that Zuma was recalled because of corruption allegation. Now Thabo Mbeki came on board. Again, Thabo Mbeki attempted to interfere with the corruption case on Zuma. That was not welcomed by the ANC party, and as a result, he was also recalled. So why is it that in Kenya ndio nasikia kuna stories za changamoto za recall, yani hakuna framework? It's like you want to go to Nairobi, you really want to go to Nairobi by road, you don't have a car, but you're told that magari yote hayafanyi kazi, magari yana shida kwa sababu kuna hitilafu fulani, mafuta sijui nini. So you're given excuses to discourage you from going to Nairobi. It's just the same way Kenyans want to have PASSARIS recalled, to have Edwin Sifuna recalled, but we are told that kuna changamoto kwa framework, ile legal framework ya kurecall hawa haiwezi.
With democratic trends.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we create heavy weather around the right of recall, but in essence, I want that law to be there so that Kenyans can learn the hard way. That even if you have an efficient recall law, you still will not be able to recall your MP unless you can prove that he's been convicted and he's exhausted all his rights of appeal, or unless you can prove that he has, by the time he's missing parliamentary sittings, the speaker is already aware.
Even again, if you go to these laws again, you're told that you cannot recall this person ile mwaka wa mwisho, mwaka to election, uwezi. Na the first 1 year after election pia uwezi, because why are you recalling him? Na hata hajaona kazi amefanya. Then that means the second, third and fourth year are the ones you can initiate the recall. But again, if you look at it very carefully, then it means it's only the second and the third year that you can recall someone, because the term is 5 years. Now, if we are on our third year, na tunaambiwa kwamba kuna changamoto, framework hakuna. So let's assume the lawyers, the members of parliament start working on the framework. Then they put the framework for a recall. And then this is done, and at the time it's done, imeisha ni 2026 huko. So unaona kwamba recall haitawezekana. In fact, they will not even do it because it's like committing political suicide on themselves. How can they give Kenyans a rope that Kenyans will use to hang them? It's not going to be possible. That's why I maintain that hii mambo ya recall ni fake. Maybe the best thing is people to just wait for the votes. Hii recall ni kama haitawezekana. And I agree with someone who reacted on the comment section previously and said hii mambo ya recall ni story tu ya jaba, haitafanyika. Because they will look for ways of making sure that it doesn't work. And one of the ways already is that there is no legal framework to execute that, to kuitoa. You know, if I may take you through something here regarding the process of recalling, allow me to just update you on this part, because it's good if you know the process of recalling a member of parliament, now that that debate is out there in the public domain. Now, the process says, first, initiation of the recall petition, where a voter in the members of parliament's constituency initiates the process by applying to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for approval to start a recall petition. The application must be in writing and it must have details of the reasons for a recall. The second step is the IEBC review. Now, the IEBC will review the application to ensure it meets legal requirements. If approved, the IEBC will issue a recall petition form to the person who initiated the recall within 14 days. Then there's the process of signature collection. Now here, the person who initiated the process will then have 30 days to collect signatures from at least 30% of the registered voters in the affected members of parliament's constituency. Each signature must be accompanied by the voter's name, ID number, and voter registration number. Then the submission of petition. The completed petition must then be submitted to the IEBC. The submission must be accompanied by a list of at least 15% of the voters who signed the petition. This will serve as a witness. Verification process. The IEBC will have 30 days to verify signatures and authenticity of the petition. This includes confirming that the signatories are actually registered voters in the affected members of parliament constituency. Notification. If the petition is found to be valid, then the IEBC will notify the Speaker of the National Assembly within 15 days. Recall election. If the grounds for a recall are confirmed, the IEBC will conduct a recall election in the constituency within 90 days. This recall election is a sort of referendum where voters will be asked to answer yes or no to their MP being recalled. A simple majority, 50% plus 1 of the votes cast, is required for the recall to succeed. The last one is recall results declaration. The IEBC will tally the votes and declare the results. If the majority votes yes, the MP will lose their seat. If this happens, then the IEBC will conduct a by-election in the constituency within 90 days. So I think there's something here in the process where there's a submission of the petition, because there's a clause here about 15% that the completed petition will then be submitted to the IEBC. The submission must be accompanied by a list of 15% of the voters who signed the petition. This will serve as witnesses. So that is the process, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you think that is going to be a bit tedious? It's close to making it impossible. Now, back to this debate. Based on the details, ladies and gentlemen, do you think the lawyers or the crafters of the Constitution had good intentions when they introduced the recall clause? Did they just introduce it and make it impossible at the same time? They introduce something that Kenyans want, and then they make it impossible at the same time for you to recall someone. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.